Hello, Big Bad Ben. I had a different name on here. Is it? Oh, yeah, Ben Makin.
Yes, that's me. That's me. I'm Ben.
Okay.
Yeah, lovely to meet you both.
Okay, Ben. Thank you, Ben.
No worries. Well, you're so welcome. And you know what? I can only thank you in a very small way by giving you
Yeah.
a song request at the end, if that's all right. Because
Oh,
that's
no
my
problem.
power.
Whatever you like, mate.
Is that all right?
Whatever you... Yeah. No problem.
Brilliant. Well, if you're good to go, guys, I'll just give you a chance,
Yeah.
first of all, just to jump in and, well, basically just say your names and introduce yourselves, if that's all
Sure.
right.
Hey, gang, it's me, Mr. Motivator, and I'm here with the main man, Ben Makin. Oh, yeah, but I've also got Gareth with me as well.
Hello, I'm Gareth Davies from the RNIB. It's quite hard to follow that intro, Mr. Motivator.
Tell you what you do. I'll give you a choice. Sir, you can call me Mr. MBE. You can call me Derek or Moat.
I quite like Mr. MBE, actually. I might go with, is that all right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But you know what? I'm having the time of my life. And listen, I've been sitting in the studio all day so far. And I'm talking about, obviously, what I love, which is to encourage everybody to move their body, about inclusion of getting everybody, no matter what your age, no matter what your ability, no matter what condition you're dealing with, to get involved in movement, because there's so much joy that you get from it. And I hope you can tell from my voice that basically I'm saying to people, the same as I've said to them for the past 30 years, move your body now, and tomorrow you'll feel better.
Yeah, what a fantastic thing to be chatting about today, and I'm so pleased that you're both here, and this campaign, what a fantastic one. See sport differently. I just think it's such a lovely message for people, isn't it? Don't be afraid of getting involved, and it's for everyone, right? Having fun and moving around.
Sure. And there's no point really just saying to people, get up and start moving around, because often, right, what we need to do is we need to create the right environment for them to feel safe and comfortable. And I've been working with Gareth, and the whole important thing is, and he will tell you, is that there are so many little changes that have been made or can be made or that you can make, right, to ensure that you enjoy the sport, movement, exercise, looking after your health. And I think, Gareth, I think you should explain exactly who you are.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, my name's Gareth Davies. I'm the Strategic Engagement Manager at RNIB. So RNIB and British Blind Sport have developed the programme, as you've mentioned before, called See Sport Differently. And this phase of See Sport Differently is really just to demonstrate about how just a few minor sort of tweaks or adaptations can make pretty much all sports accessible for blind and partially sighted people. And if any of your listeners or yourself, Ben, want to find out more, please just search up See Sport Differently, and you'll find our really amazing online interactive hub. It's got some fantastic workouts from Mr. Motivator himself, some really inspirational videos from blind and partially sighted people who've really found the benefits of getting back into sport. And also, there's a really good quiz for people to take part in to find out what sort of sports would suit them and where locally they can actually start doing them.
And I think it's important to actually say to people, listen, when we say the word sport,
yes,
we're not saying that you have to become a basketball player, you have to become a glorified swimmer. At the end of the day, right, it's finding an activity that suits your lifestyle. And if you want to run, there's a way in which you can do it. And little pointers, like, for example, having a buddy, right, is really important if you want to take that up. But also, I think the message of what we're doing in terms of addressing people who are blind, right, is to say to everybody who don't move their body, guess what? You can go on here and you can benefit as well with some of the stuff that we've put together, because you getting up from your sofa and making a move, right, is a big step for all of us. But in particular, if you're blind, it's an even bigger step, because there's so many obstacles which can be in the way. And we try to make sure that those obstacles do not get in your way. In fact, what we do is we create this hub that when you go online, right, all of a sudden you feel like you've got a buddy. Someone's going to hold your hand and make sure that your journey is much easier.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, to be honest, it sounds a little bit like, one of those hurdles might just be the kind of confidence, and it's kind of talking to those people and saying, join us, get up and join us.
It is, absolutely. And as we all know, so I'm registered blind myself as well, Ben. And, when I was registered blind 7 years ago, it really does knock your confidence in all sorts of different ways.
Sure.
And getting back into sport for me personally was the thing that sort of began to help me, readjust. But also, just for anybody, starting to go to a gym or join a club, that can be quite daunting, really. So what we've done, again, this isn't, as Mr. Motivator says, it's not about running marathons or anything. It's really for people just to start moving their bodies. And we've got his home-based videos that are on the C Sport Differently hub. Really just, and is that starting point for many people, just to begin to build that confidence. Because it's very easy for people to say, just start doing it. But, you just have to start somewhere and just build your way up. Or alternatively, if you're ready, we've also got the information there to get you straight into some sort of, more structured activity.
And I think, Gareth is there talking about his own personal experiences. And at the end of the day, there's no better exponent than someone who's actually experienced the loss of his sight and basically what he's had to do to participate in all those different sporting activities, which he does. And so those inspirational stories are available as part of the hub, because sometimes we need to hear it from other people. How did you cope? How did you deal with this? When you lost your sight, right, all of a sudden, how did you feel mentally, right? Where did it take you? Where do you find yourself? Were you at the bottom of the pile? Were you on the edge? Do you feel like you were falling off the edge? How did you pull yourself back? And I think those stories are really important for people to hear. But there's no point just doing the stories alone. We need to give you the tools, so that way then you say, okay, you've inspired me. How do I get up and move? How do I get up and start that journey? And so that's what this is all about, right? Is inspiring those people to say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to get up, I'm going to start moving, getting those steps going, and then I can look as good as Mr. Motivator.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, absolutely brilliant words, guys. Yeah, I mean, I'm so pleased that we can, hopefully convince, even if it's just a handful of people listening today. I'll be delighted with that. And Gareth, I mean, you're talking about your own sort of experiences. I mean, I know obviously this is a tough thing to do, just straight off the top of your head, but I just wondered if you had any tips for obvious tips for people who perhaps are going through that process, maybe are suffering from, their own sight loss, and they're starting to think, great, well, that's what am I going to do now? How am I going to get involved? I wonder if you had any obvious, just first tips for those people.
Yeah, so I think it's about, it doesn't matter if you try something and you don't like it. It's about having little tasters, doing different things until you actually find some sort of activity or a sport that actually really connects with you and you love. So just get out there and try and find things that you enjoy doing. Otherwise, you're not really going to go back. And also, if you haven't done any exercise or any activity for a very long time, don't dive in at the deep end. It's like that analogy for when you're gardening, little and often. So just start building your way up. So those two things would be the key thing. Find something you love and then just begin slowly but consistently.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I think that message actually applies to every single person. They say that for a habit to form, you have to do it at least 21 times. Now, that could be 21 repetitions. It could be 21 days, 21 hours. But you do it often enough. After a while, it becomes a habit. So I say to people, movement should be a bit like brushing your teeth. Every day you get up and you do it. That's a habit. The day you don't, you had to leave in a rush. En route, you will stop, going to the chemist, buy yourself some toothpaste and toothbrush. You'll go and brush your teeth. It's the same thing with movement. If you do it every day, as often as you can, and right now, people listening, right, can just change their whole posture purely by sitting at the edge of the seat. Imagine there's an orange between your shoulder blades, squeezing the juice of that orange out, right? Automatically, you've changed the way in which you look at life. Those simple little changes can become a habit, and in the long term, just give you some wonderful benefits which will stay with you forever.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, thank you very much. I mean, I'm sure you've seen this countless times in your work, Mr. Motivator. Seeing people just completely change their perspective, based on this. I bet you've seen this so many times.
Oh, you know what brings a joy to me is the amount of letters I get, a message go say, because of you, right? And I think that we should all strive for that, where someone will turn around and say, because of you, I changed my occupation. Because of you, I've now getting the benefits of exercise and movement. I have an online platform where London hospitals have started recommending people to come on there and do some of the movements we promote. Pre-cancer operation. Can you imagine that? Right? Because what it does, it actually means that it puts people in a different mind space. Well, I know that when it comes to actually having a loss, right, and losing someone in your life, you have to pick yourselves up. And every single person who loses their sight, we've got to find a way in which we can encourage them to never giving up. always just basically just keep on going no matter what. And I'm looking at your name, Ben Makin. We want to make things happen, right? And make things happen, right? Mr. Ben Makin is really important, all right? Yes, that's why we're here. And my online platform, Real Mr. Motivator on Instagram, is all about lifting your spirit, making you feel good, and also promoting everything that we're about, which is seeing sport differently.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, Mr. Motivator, that was absolutely fantastic. I really do appreciate that. And Gareth, it's been fantastic to have you with us as well, talking about this brilliant campaign today. And what I will just do, if that's okay with you both, I'm aware of your time, won't keep you for too much longer. I would just love to give you another chance, really, I know we've talked about the campaign a bit, but I'd love to give you a chance just to reiterate the website links and things like that.
Sure.
And then song request time, guys, probably the coolest bit. So if you'd like to, it's optional.
Sure. Well, in terms of the online and people finding out, is simply go to Google and type in See Sport Differently, and it's the first thing that will come up there. And on that website, some amazing interactive workouts from Mr. Motivator, a quiz so you can locate a sport that you may fall in love with locally to you, and some really inspirational videos from blind and partially sighted people who've started their activity and fitness journey.
Thank you so much.
And just remember that, right? When you go on there, it becomes your buddy. So if you want to achieve any kind of improvement in your condition, I'd recommend you do it now. See sport differently. But also at the same time, there's one track of music that you've got to listen to.
Oh, yeah.
And the words are so encouraging. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
It's McFadden and Whitehead. Ain't no stopping us now.
Oh, what age? Oh, I knew you'd have a perfect song to us.
Hey, come on.
Yes, I knew
DJ Motivator in the house.
We can trust Mr. Motivator to pick the perfect song. Thank you very much, guys. Oh, thank you both. It's been an absolute pleasure having you. I really enjoyed it. So please do join us again very soon. You're always welcome.
Thank you very much.
All right, no
Thank
problem.
you, guys. Goodbye for now.
Bye. Bye-bye.